Hey there guys, so we are back with the new episode of 7th Prince again, but last time we saw many stupidity had happened in the show. For example, how Babylon fought with a pig monster whose sole wish in life was to be eaten by humans. Yeah, he was created with extreme regeneration ability in a lab so that pig can solve the world's hunger problem, but his meat just tasted like crap, and none were able to eat even a single bite. That's why he took the wrong path in life and decided to destroy whole humanity. And that's why Babylon fulfilled its wish and made a delicious pork cutlet out of him. After that resolved, the scene then goes to Sylpha. Now that lady was seriously awesome. She was holding off Anastasia with nothing but a candlestick, not a sword. And just as she got the opening, Sylpha instantly took it and defeated Anastasia in a combo strike. But the main fight still continues up in the sky between Gitan and Lloyd, and meanwhile, Shiro brought Escher and Princess to the rooftop to perform their hymns. The scene from up there was devastating and the situation on Crow's side was insane. He had used his powers so damn much and Bats told him to just stop, yet he used it again without a second thought to save the kid who was about to be crushed by that dragon. Then Bats looked back and saw Crow as pass out from blood loss. And on Rem's side, she kept asking Dante for help, but he refused to anything. For a moment she thought he was with Gitan since he looks evil, but then Dante asked Rem if she knows the perpetrator of this attack. Rem thought for a while, but in the end she said yeah, she knows, and in the meantime, Lloyd's spells were getting nullified by Gitan's attacks. It was really strange because his attacks were cancelling each of his spells like purification does to evil. That means Gitan has the power to purify anything that he sees as evil because the concept of good and evil depends on him to decide. And for every spell the symbol on his blade changes, which makes Lloyd rule out a few of his possibilities. First, he can't make more than 3 symbols. Second, he can't cut out the magic itself. Third, he changes the very concept of holy spell Luxa. The very spell God had granted him. More so, Lloyd saw the loopholes and weakness in his powers and attacks as well. As for ground battle, Bats was now alone, and just as the lizard tried to go after Crow, he saves the guy. Crow did one heck of a job to save everyone to keep the lizard at bay, but the lizard was taking his time to enjoy this game. He started to laugh and enjoy the moment to kill his prey, and Bats wasn't able to do anything. It made him cry out in desperation for help, which was exactly what the lizard wanted. But in the blink of an eye, Tao and Sylpha showed up. It was a relief to see this too, and behind them those 2 pastors also came to heal Crow. Tao sensed there's no civilians around and admired Crow for doing such a heavy job of protecting and fighting this abomination. But now the ladies started bickering again to call dibs on which part of this dragon they want to attack. But suddenly they saw their life flashing when they stopped that breath attack. If that breath attack had hit not just them, but the people who were hiding far away would have died too. Bats was injured as well. And he thought nobody could stop this lizard. That lizard also had a backstory. From the moment he was born he was a slave of Gisarm. With him he came to this world and took this body, and right after that, Gisarm decided to throw him away. He was lying out in the rain near death when Gitan came to assess the abnormalities of the Lordest Island. He knew devils had taken over this island and the one leading them resembled a demon lord. Despite that, Gitan thought of trying out his powers on Gisarm. He knew they would do some harm but could not purify Gisarm's heart, and seeing the dragon on the ground, Gitan decided to bring him back, in his lab with several operations. He restored it back to life after adding various pieces of unknown living beings to Lizard. And then he commanded the lizard to be like a dragon and bring down destruction on this world like a real dragon. So now he intends to do just that. However, this time even Tao and Sylpha weren't able to bear it. Both tasted dust after a while, and so he charged his attack again to murder even the people sheltering far away in the church. And right before it releases his attack, Grim shows up to handle the situation. It takes care of the people and Jiriel stays back to save Crow. Lizard saw Grim's power and knew he's no match for this one. But people on the ground didn't know who he was. Grim can't reveal his identity, so he said he's an adventurer. But a guy with horns like a demon was weird. Poor Grim got this idea from Jiriel to take a human form or else people will treat him as an enemy. That's why he had to make some stupid reason behind having those horns, because he can't make that invisible anyways. He assured them that he means no harm and that his buddy will save Crow. Then Grim asked Tao to make sure there's no civilians around, because he wanted to make a punching bag out of the lizard. After all he did here, the lizard was laughing while taking his time beating around those people. Grim noticed the dragon is from the demon realm, but he must have come here with someone else. Well, whoever he was, he did abandon him. But that sort of sad backstory doesn't melt Grim's heart. Only strong ones get to live, and that is the demon realm's rule, and Lizard was applying that rule here. But Grimm was different. He left the poor guy and told him to run away. But Dragon wanted to live and die as a dragon with pride. He saw Grimm provoked him intentionally so that in his last moment he would at least get death with pride. With this, Grimm turned him into dust. But before fully vanishing, he remembers Gatan had made them swallow his Luxa, which will purify their soul in death. But Dragon did not use the Luxa and wished to meet Gatan in hell again. With this, Grimm sucked all the dragon mana and once even thought he's strong as Gisarm, but he realized he's not. And far away from these two monsters that are still battling toe-to-toe in the sky, people on the ground could hear the sounds of combat but had no idea who was fighting, and Grimm and G-Hurl decided to travel above to view Lloyd fight. And right there our episode ends. But if you want to watch the next episode, then subscribe and hit the bell icon, or else you might miss the new updates. Till then, take care.